Welcome back to the Wolf Den presented by Win Again Academy. I'm Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Today, we welcome Julie Russell to the show. Welcome to the Wolf Den.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. That was a fun intro.
Yeah, it's not bad. Canva. Check it out on Canva if you want an intro. I need to do an outro, but and maybe change the music. But it gets you a little hyped. We're going to talk. Speaking of music, we're going to talk a lot of music today. But for the people in the audience who don't know who you are, let's give them a quick intro, and then we'll get to it.
I am Julie Russell. I am from Boston, Mass. I am currently in Los Angeles now. I've been back and forth, East Coast, West Coast, the past 3 years as I've been building out my companies. And yeah, I am a founder of the founder of Fangirl Fantasy, which is a pop culture events company. We focus on throwing fun themed dance nights across the country. Taylor Swift, One Direction, Harry Styles, everything across the board. We also kind of now market into just throwing events and experiences for people that are affordable and fun and things that just to get you out and to have some fun and just meet other people in your city or just kind of figure out what's going on next. And then I also have my own management company where I manage TikTokers, influencers, and creators as well.
Great, yeah. The certainly the Taylor Swift has gone nuts. It's crazy. $500 million she's gonna have make on this tour, and the prices are crazy. She's at the top of my list of people I've never seen that I would like to. Her and Ed Sheeran. My brother and his wife just saw Ed Sheeran, and my wife saw Taylor with my niece. It doesn't happen very often that I get jealous of them for the concerts they go to, but that certainly is it. The word fan is interesting because most times we think about it as in sports. I'm a fan of this team, and I actually kind of use it a couple ways. I'm a fan of the Florida Gators. I'm a fan of the Miami Marlins. I root for the Yankees because I kind of like them because my family. So I'm not necessarily a fan of them, but I root for them. With musicians, it's just more like I like them. I'm a fan of them, or I'm not a fan. You could say I'm not a fan of them. So
Mhm.
how do you categorize a fan? The word fan.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I do think in the music or with, young women and young girls, the word fan is sometimes said in, or fangirl specifically is said in kind of like a negative tone and kind of look down. It's like, for example, if you look at Harry Styles and Taylor Swift's demo, it's young girls, right? Usually probably, middle school to high school, but now they're targeting like the early 20s and late 20s, because you can relate the music, the heartbreak, stuff like that. But if you kind of look at the word, fangirls, it's the one, oh my God, they're the ones camping outside, or they're so crazy, they're doing this and that for their favorite artist. These artists would be nowhere without fans. And the fans are the ones buying the merch. They're the ones still buying CDs, the collectibles, and they're the ones on Ticketmaster at 10 a.m. when the tickets go on sale to go with their friends. So it's really interesting too because as I'm kind of trying to help break the barrier of the word, fans, and that it is a positive thing for people in the industry. Um, what's the difference between being a fan of sports and being a fan of artists? Because there are, people are like, you're so crazy. You're buying the jerseys,
Yeah.
you're buying this, you have the season tickets. So it's very interesting. But I think what makes someone a fan is just supporting them, whether it's, streaming the music or it's purchasing the tickets or the merchandise or whatever that looks like. I think there's a wide variety of where you can be on the spectrum for fans. There's
Well,
the
that's
casual, you listen to a song because it was on a Spotify playlist that you were listening to. You're like, oh, I like them. Or you hear them on the radio and you don't skip it. And then there's the super fans, the fangirls that are the ones that, they're in that 0.1% when they get their Spotify recap, or, they're going to 2, 3 shows of a tour. They have all the merch. They, kind of know what's going on behind the scenes. So there's definitely a spectrum of, where you can kind of lie on the fan.
Yeah, I think there is a big difference in sports and music because the levels, like the difference of being a fan and being fanatical about it, right? And with sports, it's a little bit different because let's say it's your home team, they're playing a number of games at home, or even just a great number of games in in the season from a music point of view. When you're following an artist, maybe they come to see you once, and I don't even know if you can go see them. Can you get a ticket? Can you afford it? But you can listen to them all the time, and there's a lot of other ways that you can support the musicians. So I think it's interesting. I'm like fanatical about music. I'm not necessarily fanatical about any one person, although I have my favorites. I am flying out to Dallas to see Blink 182
Awesome.
because I'm away when they're down here in South Florida, and I couldn't find any other way. And I'm like, I got to see this tour. I missed the Hella Mega tour with Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy, which was, Green Day is probably my favorite band if I have to say one. So there is a big difference about being, just a regular fan and fanatical. And it sounds like the events that you're doing are definitely made for the people who are fanatical, but it's also a fun night. So you don't necessarily have to be the biggest Taylor Swift fan to want to go to a dance party that's where you're going to listen to Taylor Swift. I would go to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also, for, someone who goes out to bars or clubs or whatever, you always hear kind of the same music. You're not sometimes listening to the music that you are specifically listening to. So it's also giving you a spot to go out and be like, well, I know they're going to be playing Taylor Swift. Even like we enjoy Taylor Swift, so we can go instead of going to a club or a bar and you like have no idea what you're walking into, and you're like, well, I don't like EDM, and we already paid the cover, and that's what they're playing tonight. So it's also giving you a night to be like, oh, well, at least we know exactly what we're walking into. And also, as someone who is a fangirl and growing up, that's why I followed this passion is I have friends that I met through concerts and that I would only ever see like, waiting in line to go to the show or at the show. So this also gives you and these fans like another night like that where it's like, okay, like there's a 5 seconds of summer night, in Boston. We haven't seen my friends since the last tour, 5 Seconds Summer. It's really cool. Let's all get together and go to this. So it's also giving, you this night to go out and see people that you normally might not see and you only ever see, at that specific show or that tour.
When you have a Taylor Swift night, every song is Taylor Swift, or do you drop some other stuff?
We'll throw some other stuff in there that like kind of like, if well maybe like a Harry song that also, that might be about Taylor, or we'll play something like maybe someone that used to open for Taylor. We definitely like tied into like back to Taylor, but we definitely will throw in a couple songs throughout the night just to kind of spice it up a little bit.
Why is it, and not why is it, I understand why it is, but we say fangirl. I assume you're not only just females at this.
No, it's open to everyone. That's just kind of the word that is thrown around in the industry of this, you can use the word super fans as well, but fangirls is kind of the word that is thrown around.
I mean, it feels like if you call someone a fanboy, that's more derogatory.
Yeah, definitely.
I would get. I mean, look, I like Taylor Swift. I like Harry Styles, 5 Seconds of Summer, One Direction, Backstreet Boys. I've seen half of who I just said in concert, and I like listening to their music. I like, a lot of pop, different wings. So you want to have it so people feel comfortable. They can go to these events and kind of just be who they are.
Exactly.
Very, appropriate in Pride Month, because I think that's, people would probably get bullied if you're a 14-year-old boy who wants to go listen and dance to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a safe space where you can be exactly who you want to be. I think if you've also been to like a Harry Styles concert, he's very open about that. Like tonight, you can be whoever you are, like be your pure true self. And that's absolutely kind of what we are also following is just listen, scream, dance, like just have the best time ever. Like don't care about what anyone else thinks. Come alone, meet friends, or come with, a date or whatever that looks like, or a group of friends and have a night out. But yeah, we definitely are be whoever you want to be, because that's why the company was made, based off of I am a fangirl, and I will sing it loud and proud of, why I am even in the industry and followed this path. Is because of the bands and the artists that I love.
Are you at every event?
I used to be. I did for a very long time. Only this year has when we did over 70 events last year and I went to every single one. And then just it's pretty impossible for me to be there. And now we're doing like more than one in a night. So I go to like the major ones where, a little bit more production or whatever that looks like. But I've taken a step back a little bit and I have a great team. Um, that I work with, and they kind of handle it when I'm not there.
It's not 18 and over, right? I assume you got to have 12 and 14-year-olds at this.
It depends on the city and the venue. We'll do some all ages. We'll do 18 plus. Sometimes you have to do 21 plus. And it really depends on the market and the venue.
What is there one that seems to be more popular and easy to put together?
They all are really, I mean, the Taylor ones and then the One Direction 5 Seconds of Summer ones are so much fun as well. And the reason we do that one is 5 Seconds of Summer used to open for One Direction. That's kind of how they really popped off. So we do that to like the nostalgia of like, if you didn't get to go see this tour, or you did get to see this tour, come back. And then we also test out some new themes to see like what people are looking for. We started a Tumblr night, which is like the 1975 Halsey and that era of music. And so we're starting small there and checking out some like small venues and bigger markets and testing to see the interest and just kind of keep growing to the different fans in the different markets. Because just because you do like Taylor Swift, that doesn't, there's fans in everywhere. And we want to definitely not just cater to who I'm a fan of.
Have you tried something that hasn't worked?
A few times, yeah. And it's interesting because social media can play tricks on you sometimes we open it up, we're like, what cities and markets or themes, should we come to, or what are you guys looking for? And it will be like requested. And then we come to that city and the ticket sales are just not there sometimes. But then like the flyer will have like 700 shares or, it'll reach 5,000, whatever, organically, not even with any, and then it just kind of misses sometimes, which is really interesting. But if we don't try, then you'll never know. So we have to.
Yeah, I think you got it. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's the artist. It doesn't mean it's the city. It could be there's so many factors into why an event, you know how many events there are that I would love to go to that I'm just out of town for?
Exactly, 100%. Or there's things going on in the city that we don't know about because we're not from there that, we might have just picked a bad weekend.
Yeah, that's something that you can research more and find out. Hey, we found out that people were going elsewhere. What's the average crowd?
Age-wise?
No, number. How many people are?
Oh, our biggest we've done is 1,700, so just about 2,000. And then normal though, average is 250, 200, like on the low side. But in Seattle we do 500, 600 people. Boston's our biggest, so Boston, no matter what, we're over the 500 mark. Detroit and Chicago are always
like where you're from. You have more.
That's where we built. That's where we built it up from. So we've been in Boston for 4 years now.
Okay.
Obviously, COVID hit, but that's where we built it. Everyone knows like exactly what it is. We're there consistently. So we just have an organic and like the strong following of people just kind of like, when are you coming back? When's next? Just because it's just where it started. But yeah, like Chicago, we're always in the 300, people there. So it's really all over, but it's so much fun. Columbus is a very big market for us. Penn State is
Columbus, yeah, these are college towns, so they're really the college crew.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we go to a lot of college campuses as well.
At 200 sounds like about the number you want to hit to say yes. We should probably do it again, or
exactly.
Do you think that it's? I can see both sides of this. Having a really good time because there's 250 people, or having 1,500 people. It's kind of crowded, but that's pretty cool because you're kind of, taking the energy of the crowd. What do you think people like more?
Oh, they love when it's
packed.
Yeah, they love when they're like packed in like sardines. But again, it's also we do different venue sizes. So sometimes like if it's a new market, we'll go for the 300 cap venue. So 200 people in there, it looks, because we're not, we're not naive. We're not going to go to a new city and do a 2,000 or 1,000 cap venue when we've never been there before. So we'll do the smaller, build it up, let people know, because then they're posting on social media and people like, wait, what was that? So the next time we come around, we can do a little bit bigger of a venue. So sometimes, yeah, we'll do the 300, 400 cap venue and we get the 200 people in there and it's like, oh crap, okay, cool.
What was COVID like? Did you do any virtual parties? Because I joined virtual dance parties during COVID, and Andy Frasco, who is a I don't know how to describe him, but he has a band, Andy Frasco in UN, big on the festival scene. I describe him, it's like a bar mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he plays, it's just nuts. He was doing a dance night, and even after COVID, he just did it. People would come and they'd look online and they'd just be, sharing video. What did you guys do during COVID? Anything like that?
Yeah, we did. We did a handful of them, like on Friday nights. We do like the different themes as well. People would be on Zoom, and people would kind of send in their requests and have their drinks and White Claws on the other end, and it was really fun. We just did like kitchen parties at my apartment, with the DJ who's my best friend, and then my two roommates. So it was really fun. Just something different. But then, for COVID, I was like really just kind of getting the logistics on the back end for me and making sure when things opened up, we were ready to go, really. And then I created a podcast just to kind of keep the brand awareness around. And the podcast was around fangirls who made it into the entertainment and music business. So I interviewed colleagues and people I looked up to that, were super fans of specific people. And now they're, following their career in whatever it's management or social media, or, and just kind of ending the stigma that if you're a crazy fangirl, you can't, pursue something. But I did that for about a year. It's not my passion or anything. I just knew I needed to kind of keep the brand going. So I did that during COVID as well.
Walk me through an event. Let's just say it's Taylor Swift. Obviously, I'm hearing Taylor Swift on, the music is Taylor Swift is playing. What does the venue look like for Taylor Swift? What do the people look like who are coming into it? And is anything linked? I mean, does Taylor Swift know you're doing Taylor Swift parties? I mean, the Swifties they're pretty fanatical. They're one of the strongest armies. We call them armies.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has an army. Someone has army in their fan.
BTS.
Yeah, BTS. The BTS. So, what does it feel like if I'm there?
Yeah, we have, depending on the size of the venue, and it looks like we have customized merch, whether it's like lyrics or just like a saying for certain artists that we like, a Harry or anything like that. We'll sell merch. We do give away free sunglasses, like the heart sunglasses. We sometimes, if it's a Harry versus Taylor night, we like pick a pin when you walk in, so you can take a Taylor pin or a Harry pin, kind of pick a side for the night. We have a photo wall with, sometimes we'll have, Taylor cutouts or Harry cutouts, balloons. And then on the stage, we have the DJ with, when you first walk in, before the DJ comes on, we have like a fun curated playlist of other pop music kind of related to Taylor before the DJ comes on, because we kind of want to, we give it like an hour for people to fill in, get their drinks and, all that fun stuff. And then up on the screen, we have like send your request to. So we can also kind of see, we'll get DMs like seeing like, all right, this is the vibe, this is songs being really highly requested. Let's play this at like the middle of the night when, it's door to door packed. And then we also will play the music videos, because Taylor has so many music videos for most of her songs. It just gives that extra element. And then as well as if we don't have videos, we'll play kind of fan edited videos that we find, or I kind of do my homework on the cities, and I'll find like, oh, this fan met Taylor, and I'll put the photo of a fan up with Taylor, just anything fun to kind of get that extra edge. And then depending, like we have CO2, we have confetti, depending on, like I said, the size of the venue and what the production can look like for the venue.
And as far as any, like One Direction, Harry, 5 Seconds of Summer, Taylor, do they have an idea of who you are? Do they know?
Yeah, they're
You talk to
definitely
them?
I've talked to teams before for I can't really say the teams. We're definitely the goal is definitely to like have some collaboration a little bit, but the teams are definitely aware, and you kind of have to obviously using the likeness be a little careful on um, some of the marketing and things like that. So, but yeah, they're definitely teams are definitely aware that what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you would think they'd be supportive of what you're doing. You're just
Yeah,
enhancing
they've been
your
supportive.
brand.
There hasn't been any like you guys cannot do this or whatever because it also just builds brand awareness. Not that Taylor Swift
No,
needs it, but
look, she can use it. That's how she builds.
absolutely.
Next tour could be $1 billion, and it's not because not everyone can go to a Taylor Swift concert, but
It's
everyone can listen to Taylor Swift, and almost everyone can probably afford to go to a dance party or put together some type of or go to an event or buy some type of merch, and it's yeah, I mean, it's some of the biggest fans probably never seen Taylor in concert. Might not have $1,000 to,
yeah.
but they were waiting. There were people who probably never went to the show, were waiting on that merch line. I remember I was in Philadelphia when she was up there, and we were going to go if the prices went down. But the merch line for days, people were
People
just.
are like camping out for it. It's insane. I love it.
Have you seen Taylor, Harry, One Direction, Five Set? You've seen them all?
Oh yeah. I think I'm seeing Taylor in August here in Los Angeles. I somehow managed to get the tickets for face value. So I have a couple girlfriends actually flying out from Boston because they couldn't get tickets in Boston. So it was just easier. I got the tickets, so they're kind of making a weekend out of it. So I have my Taylor show coming up, which I'm super excited for. I think this will be my fourth or fifth time seeing her. I've seen her at Gillette every year that she's been there. And
Which
then
Taylor do you like?
like which era?
Yeah, I like so I like her when she first started. There's some songs. I like a few of the newer. I'm not as like
Like you like
anti-hero.
the
I
like
like
the country
Betty.
Taylor?
Well, even just more of the pop, like 21 and yeah, I
Um,
do like Paper Rings.
yep, from
Yeah,
Lover.
but I probably like more of her older stuff and pop stuff than now this new Taylor, which is I don't know. I don't like. I'm more of a pop
Pop
good
hits.
beat kind of person than just a slow song. But there are again songs like Betty. I do
Mhm.
like depending, but that's just me. And she went into this direction, which I think the fans like anyway. Almost like Demi Lovato did the same thing too. She's got some. I don't want to say it's dark, but it's
Yeah,
definitely darker.
definitely kind of more a little bit more life experience that you're like, oh crap, you went through what?
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely a pop girl too, but I love Reputation. That's definitely probably one of my favorite albums. And then Red is also one of my favorite albums. But yeah, I'm super fortunate that I've gotten to see all my favorite artists. And Harry was in LA. He did his residency um, at the Forum. He did 15 nights, so I saw four of them because you can never just go once.
I don't
Yeah,
listen to him as much. I probably have a handful of his songs on my in my on my phone, but I could see that if I was watching him live, I would be a huge fan of it. And that goes for a lot. That's not that abnormal where you just there's people I love to see live, and I was like, I could take or leave them when it comes on my phone.
he's a performer. He really is. His stage presence and just you can just see someone that just loves it. Because there's been times I've gone to shows and I'm like, I don't really think they even want to be up there. But he really just the fan engagement as well, and he speaks to the audience during a segment of a show, and yeah, he's really just a performer. He's just like a rock star. It's really fun to watch.
Who haven't you seen? Who's on your bucket list?
Oh, like this year I definitely want to see because her album this year was just something that I loved is Kelsey Ballerini. I'm a really big fan of. So I would love to see her on. I saw her when she opened for the Jonas Brothers last year.
Yeah, that was a great show.
But I would love to see like just a headliner is someone that I would really, really like. And then another artist that I've been really listening to is Renee Rapp. She's an upcoming like pop artist. Her lyrics and her voice is just incredible. So she's another one that I'm like, those are like two on my bucket list right now that I'm like, I gotta go see them in concert.
Yeah, I got a lot of these smaller. There's a guy, Ian McConnell, he was like a YouTuber, and he's got some really interesting lyrics and good tune to it. And Jax, I like. I mean, these are people I haven't gotten to see yet that I would like to see. Even Gail,
Oh
has
yeah,
stuff, and Claire Rosing. I mean, these are people who are on like the lower end of the posters. It's not. They're people I want to see. They're not like bucket lists for me.
yeah,
Aaron and Swift. But it's man, so many. I love live music, so
me too.
I love music to where if I go to a place and I'm listening, to me that's great too. If you like the music, so these type of events are. I haven't been. I'm gonna have to go to one. You and I can talk. I'd love to try and
Yeah.
bring one down to South Florida. I have some stuff in mind, so we can talk about that. But I do think maybe I'm wrong. Like you might be like, all right, this is enough. It's a little, maybe it's too much. I don't know. Do you think some people come, with the expectation that it's not going to be too much, and it was?
What do you mean too much?
Like it's just too much, like all Taylor Swift. Like I don't
Oh yeah. Sometimes,
for
yeah.
a few hours or an hour straight.
Sometimes we'll
Other
get
than a concert, of course.
like requests from like, sometimes there's the friend that just like tagged along for the night out, and they'll just kind of send like, can you please play this or that, or like kind of, or they'll send some just like out of the blue artists that like don't really make sense to play. But yeah, sometimes we can be like, can you switch it up a little bit or this and that? And if we see that and if we see enough, we'll definitely like throw in that one, that song to break it up. And like specifically for like Harry, we do like Shania because he brought her out for,
Yeah.
Coachella. We'll throw Lizzo in there. Just those songs that like a song that everyone knows, that when you put it on, like it's like, all right, people are really gonna enjoy this, and that you don't have to be a Taylor fan or a Harry fan to know it.
You have a lot of battles, Swift versus Styles and One Direction. Is there a winner, or it's just
No, it's just like saying like, hey, we're playing this. And people, like some people comment, they're like, there's no competition, blah blah blah. Like, why are you pinning? And it's like, we're not pinning anyone against each other. It's just saying like we're playing both their music and their music. It's no competition.
I feel like competition could be good because you can get people who want to, I don't know. I feel there's something there that you can enhance the experience where people can sort of vote or, and they can really show up and support who they like. If you were in a battle and you're Taylor versus Harry, who are you picking?
Oh wow, that is.
I mean, if you can only do one or the other, you can't do both anymore. Who would you pick?
I'm gonna say just based on like, if I was to play a song right now, like who am I gonna play? I would definitely play Taylor. Like if I had to listen to just one artist all day long right now, I definitely think I'd play Taylor. So I'm gonna go with her.
How about One Direction versus 5 Seconds?
One Direction. Although I love Five Sauce's older music so much,
I like
but
their older stuff.
yeah, I'm definitely
One
gonna.
Direction has an anniversary. You guys are doing some big anniversary stuff. Does that differ from your regular show or?
Yeah, we just kind of do a little bit more customized like videos and fan engagement. We do like we have like happy birthday signs and stuff like that because we act like it's like a birthday party. But yeah, it's a little bit more focused on like you've been around for a very long time, so you kind of know the song. Like we kind of play songs at a specific moment, or we customize the video screen a bit more, targeting the anniversaries. It's last year when we did it for 12. It was probably my favorite weekend. We did 4 shows in a row: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It was so much fun. It was like one of my favorite weekends of work of like these events that we did, because everyone was just there like celebrating their favorite artist. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's been this long, but they've also been broken up for 5 years, or they've been broken up for this long already. It's so much, it's in Wonder. You could play one. The thing is crazy is like you could play One Direction straight and Taylor Swift straight for hours because they have so much music.
Yeah, a lot of good music. I think even that's someone who's not a big fan, they always get surprised at how many songs someone has when you start to really listen to it. Like when people, I don't know how old you are, but people would like rank on Nickelback. But they got
Mhm.
about 10 or 11 really good hits. I
I
don't
agree. They
understand
used
the
to
hate for Nickelback.
always be on the radio, like,
And you might
always.
not even know it was them, but then you're like, oh man, I forgot about that song that they play. That's like probably a fun moment at an event where they play a song. We're like, oh my god, I like. Obviously, you're going to play all the hits that everyone's knowing and gets all the airtime, but that track that
The deep cut.
yeah, that people would be like, I haven't heard this, or you don't really hear this in a lot of places, would be I would think would be pretty fun to hear.
Yeah, it's funny too because we try to obviously we really do pay attention to the requests and what people are looking for, and, like, sometimes we're like, "Oh, we, like, forgot about," like, we don't always play this song at events, it's just one of the songs that you just forget about, and so then we play it, and we're like, "Oh my god, we need to add this one, like, into, like, rotation," because you just forget because there's so much music, and then it's really funny because they have music that you can play for hours, and if we, miss one song, and sometimes, like, that's that one person in the crowd's favorite song, won't get the message or DM. It's like, how dare you not play this song? And it's like, oh my God, there's so much music that, we can't get to every single one, which is funny. But I mean, once I feel like an artist gets past like the 3 albums, it's like, that's, when they used to have the, 17, sometimes like 17 tracks on an album, it's like, that's a lot of songs.
It's a lot of music. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long are your parties generally?
Usually, doors will open and then like within like 40 minutes to an hour the DJ will go on and the DJ's on for 3 hours, so just about 4 hours.
So that's a decent amount.
Hmm.
It's a lot of bang for your buck.
Yeah, it's not an hour or 2 hours. You can come halfway through and still have an hour and a half of, sometimes people even come and pregame at our events and then go to like a birthday party or stuff like that, which is fun to see.
I'm a 6-man veteran. 6-man does music cruises. I don't know if you know who they are.
Mm-mm.
Started out with the rock boat Sister Hazel, and a lot of people who are stars now were on these boats and sort of had their boats. Bare Naked Ladies had their own boat, and Zach Brown. But this was before my time. Everyone told me that Hanson
It's
had
going to
the
be the next big thing.
craziest fans that they've ever seen, and that probably was because Hanson was actually on and maybe had the chance to meet them. Have you ever incorporated them in any of your events?
No, that's like I would say a generation like above me, is like Hanson. And it's funny, we'd never gotten a request for Hanson ever. We get the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and those 90 bands, but Hanson's never thrown into that category, which is interesting.
Yeah, and I like their. I mean, they don't have enough music. Is probably why I think they have some new music out, which isn't bad, and some of their older stuff. Obviously, they made it big with Mbop, but yeah, their fans, from what I understand, were just like way out of control. It's almost why they don't go on these things anymore. They were just way out of control. What do you see some of the Swifties and Styles and all these fans getting where you'd be like, all right, we need to calm down a little bit, or
It's funny, there's been a few times, so, like, for the shows that are, like, sold out, people, like, wanna be in the front. It's, like, even at our events, like, they wanna get the DJ's attention, they want my attention, it's that interaction to make you feel like you're a part of the show. So there's been some times where, I'm up on the stage because 'cause I'm doing the social media, getting all the content, and someone will, like, go to the bathroom and leave their spot, and then someone, like, takes it, and they're, like, kinda pushing or this, and I'm like, "Guys, like, it's okay,
yeah.
like, being, like, on the barricade or not, it's like, we're all here to have fun." So sometimes, like, which is so interesting, like, stuff like that. But besides that, it's all, like, everyone's just there to have fun. Like, no, there's never, like, anything, I don't know, to me, if that makes it, but, like, sometimes I've seen it, like, specifically, like, the 1D anniversary show in Columbus, I can specifically see the moment where there's, like, people, like, pushing on it, and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's okay."
If there was ever to be an appearance, you'd have to have it be a surprise, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that would be like when they start to sing, or if they just came on.
Just walked right on stage like, oh crap.
Have to be at a bigger event because they're not coming unless it's worth their time to be there.
Absolutely.
I would, if it was me, I would do that. I don't, I understand you can get paid to do a performance, but when you have something like that, Bruce Springsteen used to go and he'll show up in Asbury Park at
Mhm.
at the Stone Pony, which is a famous venue, and just they're notorious for just going and playing some songs. Kenny Chesney does that, where Zach Brown, they'll pop into bars. I mean, I think that's awesome to do. Just surprise some fans and let them, obviously you wouldn't be able to just interact with them, but let them perform. I don't know. I would think that would be cool for them to not have the pressure of performing. But
I
I'm
agree.
not as
I
famous as
agree.
they
I
are. So it's
agree.
easy for me to say.
I agree with you on that one. It is interesting. I think this like day and age of like artists though is they're just like at a different caliber. Like they don't think it's all a business move sometimes, unfortunately, I feel like they think about. But yeah, I'm on your I would think they would just show up because they don't even have to tell me when they're coming and they can show up for 2 seconds and wave and go and people would still be like, oh my God, they care about us more than, you know,
Are any of the shows? This is tricky. Are any of the shows around? Do you kind of plan them around dates when they might be in the area, not on the date, but so someone who might be could, maybe it's an after party, maybe it's the day before or day after.
it's hard because we're like trying like go that route a little bit of like, post parties or this and that, but it's really hard. Like getting venues is not easy. We're also like competing with tours, like we're competing with touring artists, especially at the capacity of venues that we do. So we announced, we're booked out till almost October right now. We're all like, we have all our dates booked, like our routing. And so we're already booked. And then you're like, oh crap, they're going on tour, and then so it's kind of hard to do it that way.
Why is the venue hard? You obviously have a proven method. How does that work? You're renting
I
out
have we
space.
I have a booker. He books everything for us. Just like a normal tour would do. We have someone that does the booking and the negotiating and everything that looks like. But it's hard because so we're doing the House of Blues in Boston. And think about all the artists that are touring right now that, play the House of Blues. So it's like, are they gonna let a dance night and an event come in, or are they gonna be like, oh, Noah Khan's in town, he needs this, he's rooting. They're gonna bump up, they're gonna bump us over like a touring artist and stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
it depends on how close. If you're planning it closer to the event, then it's less likely that some tour is going to be announced and go because they're planning that further out. Um, there's so many different types of venues that I think nowadays that can accommodate, 200 to 300 people. I think, and that aren't being used and not competing. That I think, outside the box kind of things. I saw you guys did an event at Fenway. Tell us about that.
Yes, we're an official partner with the Red Sox and Fenway. We did year 2 this year. So, the Red Sox reached out to us last year and they, pitched the idea of us hosting an event on the Sam Adams deck, which is it's the Green Monster. And then they have like, the standing room only Sam Adams deck, which is a big open space. And in order to come to Fangirl Fantasy, you had to purchase a ticket to the Red Sox game. So there was a game at 6:10. You go to the game, and then 30 minutes after the game, you show your ticket, and we have the event on the Sam's deck. Following the game, so it's so much fun. They had Wally the Green Monster come, Tessie, and they were in their Harry Styles and Taylor Swift merch. It has our logo up on the big jumbotron at Fenway, and the stadium's empty. It's completely empty except for the Sam Adams decks, the photos that everyone gets, and the lights are still up on the field. But it's a really just cool experience in general, and we are actually like the only post event that they do after a game, which is really cool that they have been testing out with us. Last year, the first year, we sold about 250 tickets, and this year we doubled it with a little over 500. So it was really cool to see the growth and that people are really interested.
So that's a special ticket that gets you the game and the party.
Yep.
The other thousands of people who went to the game, they don't have access unless they buy.
Yeah, you have to there's a special link to buy like specifically the Fangirl
But
Red
if
Sox.
I'm there and I didn't know anything about it, but now I know I can get in with, or like a special admission.
Yeah, there's like the security kind of handles that side of it all, that you can kind of inquire about. But yeah, it's like redsox.com/fangirl for that specific like event and game when the tickets go on sale. We kind of send that out to our
And did any of the players show up?
no players, but we were happy with the Tessie and Molly.
Did they lose that night?
They did.
You got to get them on a win.
And the Bruins lost that night as well, so it was a rough night in Boston.
Oh, was that in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Oh, that was to my Panthers, who had a devastating. My Panthers. We had a devastating loss last night, but a hell of a season, and I feel your pain because last year the Panthers were the President's Cup winners, best record in the league, and they didn't get out of the second round. So I think we'll see what happens. But sports and music tie in very well. Music and drinking too.
Exactly.
So people come for the beer, come for the drink, stay for the music. Come for the music. Make sure that there's good stuff there, like drinks and vibe and atmosphere.
Yeah, I think also that was like just like looking at the crowd, there was the most men that we've ever had an event. So it was a lot of like date night, like go to the game, and then like kind of compromise and have a little stay after to listen to the music and stuff like that. So yeah, it was just like it's a fun night in general, and the weather was great. That's also a contender. Sometimes being like, oh crap, how's the you can't control the weather. Yeah, it's so much fun. It's definitely we're excited for year 3 next year, so it's always good vibe.
You got your tour for this year. What's next? What can we look for from Fangirl Fantasy in 24 and beyond? What are you looking to? How are you looking to expand?
Yeah, we have a lot of bigger partnerships we're kind of working on to keep the longevity of the company and making sure we don't kind of get lost in the crowd of just another dance night. We just partnered with Warner Brothers, so we're throwing an official event for them. We're doing a Barbie cruise, co-hosted with Warner Brothers, which is so exciting, and just kind of like the long-term partnerships to kind of show that we have this audience and we can speak to the audience of whatever is kind of going on in the pop space or like pop culture in general. There's a lot of, I think I was even saying is like I saw Barbie, like Ryan Gosling and Margot Robbie are going on a press tour to promote, and they're going to like 7 different cities like across the world. And when was the last time we've seen people do that in general for a movie? They used to do that all the time. If you think about these major, they do the press junkets or be at the malls or, do the Q&As, and you don't see that anymore. I think this is the first time we've seen it since obviously before COVID. I think even a year or two before that, I can't even think. So just thinking of outside the box of like, what are fans looking for and kind of coming to us as we are the ones that have the audience and speaking to everyone, and not even just in the music world, but just like in pop culture in general, and just kind of coming on to some projects that hopefully, it's a lot of ideas coming to life, but they're coming to, meetings and this, and just making sure they come to life. And just expanding the team. We had some amazing events last year with kind of like a sector of ours. They're a podcast called The Bravo Bottoms, and they're in the Bravo world of Real Housewives and Vanderpump Rules, and they were hosting amazing like viewing parties that we were throwing, and we got one of the housewives to host, and we did a meet and greet. So definitely more targeting to, even if we can't get Taylor Swift to show up to an event, but getting maybe your favorite reality star to come and do a Q&A and things like that. So just definitely keeping expanding and, making affordable, fun experiences for people to kind of come in, whatever they're a fan of, and hopefully we can bring it to them.
Yeah, it's keep moving forward, right? What works, find out what doesn't work. Don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel, but it is good as a business, especially there's a lot of opportunity for you to test out some new events and themes and places and venues, and yeah, it's the bigger you get, the more rabid your fans, right? There people are fans of what you do,
Hmm.
and some of it might not matter who you're playing. They might be like, well, this is a fun night. I'm gonna go see it, and then trying out new things that people might do. It's you guys have done a very good job in expanding from where you started. How close are you to where you think you want to be from where you started?
That's interesting. I like every time I kind of have like okay, once I hit here, it's like, all right, cool, we did this, or once we do this, or whatever. And then I think like any business owner, and it's never like you're always going next, next, next. So I really don't have like a kind of like this is exactly what I want, because I think when I started, did I ever think we'd be in a partner with the Red Sox, or did I ever think we'd be a partner with Warner Brothers? So I think, I set goals of like what next year I would love to do. We did 70 events last year, like, okay, let's hit 100 this year. Or we did this, that, or financial wise, like, okay, we hit this that year, let's do this. But I don't have like I don't think too far ahead. I'm always kind of thinking like the next 6 months and the next this or next project. I think you'd drive yourself crazy if you were kind of like, this is when, so yeah, just always like, this is just kind of soaking in when you can. I mean, the hype that we're getting around our Warner Brothers event that we announced yesterday is like incredible. And um, trying to soak it in and not being like, all right, well, what's next? And trying to live in the moment a little bit and appreciate what we've already accomplished.
I don't know if I'll see it in the theater, but I think Barbie will be a fun movie. It'll be like one of those dumb comedies almost I say dumb comedy in a good way. There's a lot of dumb comedies that I like, old school, and it's just movies that it's mindless entertainment for me, but also nostalgic, which is big, right? Barbie. And I can tell you when Barbie Girl, the song from Aqua came out, they have about 4 or 5 other songs on that album that I was really listening to. So it's not just Barbie Girl. If you like that kind of, I don't know,
Upbeat,
hamster,
yeah, the upbeat.
whatever it is, I guess if it could get annoying to some people, but I like it. And I think it's a crowd pleaser when that song just randomly comes on,
It's a song
people,
everyone knows.
yeah, people know it and they're singing it. It's I think cruises this is a 1-day event in the
Mhm.
Barbie, but there are a lot of music cruises or entertainment on cruises that deal with music or deal with other things that I think could be you know I think could be a way to go. It's just about testing, right? You test it out, you see what works, and then you go for it. Give me if you were gonna do something that's way different in the musically, give me a couple bands that you would try.
Ooh.
So like I would do a Green Day, Blink, that type of punk for me. That would be a cool, music night.
So I am like straight pop girl. Like that is but then I have like this alter ego, which he'll say is like, it's like Black Bear and like G Easy and like Mark Basie are the artists that if you like go through my Spotify, you're like, what the heck? So like that would be like a dream night, but it's also like so niche as well. But like that's definitely like personally I would like love to do it. I don't know if it would
I like
like.
Black Bear. I like NF has been
Yep.
a lot of my comes up on my phone a lot. Yeah, I think if you do it right, there's going to be people who like it, and people
Yeah.
who stumble in. Yeah, it's almost like if it'd be curious how people would attend if you just didn't say, "Hey, it's only this, and it's going to be like a dance party, and here's what you're gonna listen to." But it's sort of not your thing, so I get it. It's like, look, you're a fan of this. This is who I want to go to. I don't. I mean, I'm not in that scene as much as I was before, but there wasn't a lot of good dance parties. It was just there was live bands which I like, and I kind of knew what they were going to sing. So I would go to the places with the live bands that I like. We had Herbert Holler on. Do you know Herbert Holler?
I
He
don't think.
does dance parties and mostly in New York, and he gets a pretty good crowd. I'll send you his information. It could be worth connecting with, or at least checking it out just to see it's all about best practices and what works. Are there a lot? That's the only one that comes to mind. I know that Saved by the '90s has, there's something called Saved by the '90s that kind of tours that is targeted towards something. Do you see any other companies that are trying to do stuff
Oh,
like this?
it's everywhere. It's
Yeah,
yeah, so that's why I'm definitely trying to separate ourselves and, doing these partnerships to make it that, we're not just doing a lot of it, and I'll just say it is a lot of this are guys that are just in the nightlife scene that are just seeing a cash grab and they're
yeah,
just doing it just because they can, but we'll get like comments and the thing is like people like obviously they our branding and this and that, but sometimes when people buy tickets they just see it's like Taylor Swift night, they don't see who's throwing it or who owns it, and so we'll get like messages like, oh my god, we bought tickets, we get it like a lot to this, we thought it was you guys, and we got there and like the DJ didn't even know the words or things like that. So definitely just trying to make what everything we do like authentic, everyone knows that it's us. And yeah, just trying to play the long game for everything and making sure that, we don't get kind of wiped in with like the crowd of just the dance nights, and just making sure, like I said, the bigger partnerships, and because that's what's going to make us, stick out and play in the long game.
I'm a memorabilia guy, souvenir. I collect everything you can imagine. Do you have some of your favorite stuff that from shows that you've been to?
Yes, I have a whole box of like every ticket stub from when I was going to the shows growing up. Unfortunately, they don't do that anymore. Um,
That's why
but
we exist. We're going to get them to do it for souvenirs and commemorative tickets. Not they won't do it for admission, but there are still VIP type stuff that.
Yeah, I have all my old lanyards and from the soundtrack, the sound checks and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a box under my bed of and then same with like, like I have like, signed stuff, and oh, I love that.
VIP badge for Jordan Davis. House on fire. Everyone's out. Family, pets, whatever you need for work. What are you taking with you?
Oh, house is on fire. What am I taking? That's a great question. My laptop.
Laptops to work. You get the laptop out. Is it a box? Is it the box of tickets? Is it something from a concert or a show that you did that just
I
means
would
something
say
to you?
probably that's like the personal items, and I have like some like, family photo. Like that's like my box of like memorabilia and stuff is like memories. It's just like a ton of like everything. And so I probably would take that. Yeah. Because it has like the first Broadway show I've ever seen and the first time I ever the whole reason this company exists is because of Nick Jonas. He's my favorite artist he's ever, and so like I have the first Broadway show, and the first time I met him I have a signed of his pamphlet from him, How to Succeed in Broadway, and it's a nice little booklet and it's all nice, so probably that.
They're doing a Madison Square Garden run, I think.
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. That was, I
Yeah,
knew it was
I will be there.
yeah, I like their new stuff. Well, they have a new album, but
Mhm.
the Year 3000, which they didn't did they play? I think they did play it on the tour that I saw, but they did a little bit. They did a medley. They have so many songs, so they did a
Yeah.
medley. That was great. Who's on your Mount Rushmore of music? It could be anyone all time. Top, like, let's say four Mount Rushmore.
Or, the Jonas Brothers, Taylor. Oh, it like depends on the mood, but them too. It's so hard.
Yeah, it is hard, but the top two were easy.
I'll say Black Bear, and I want to go with like Miley or
I was gonna say no Miley, no Bieber,
I think
not for the Mount Rushmore, but for your events. Miley, Bieber, Lady Gaga. Have you tried
we
any
do,
of
yep, yeah, we've done Lady Gaga and Beyonce. We do Jonas Brothers versus Exes. So that's Miley, Selena, Demi, Taylor,
them?
which is a
Nice.
really fun theme. We've done
Madonna, is that too old?
it's probably like the thing is sometimes like a Madonna, that's like a different generation, a little older. So it's like, yeah, everyone's like, this is so cool, be fun, but they have kids. They have like, do they want to go out at 9 p.m. on a Friday? So you kind of have to think about your demo sometimes and like, are they actually going to go out? But
I think
we've
so.
done,
We did a prom night. There was some prom. It was a long time ago. Prom where everyone dressed up as a prom and it was, an 80s night. I think you can get, it depends on the city, of course, but I think you can get a couple hundred people to want to go out and listen to Madonna. And then I think, strangely enough, or not strange, like that's the type of event you would get a good amount of men at.
Mm.
Obviously, I mean, I think most of them would be gay, but
We
I would go to it too. But I remember when Madonna was in tour and the amount of men that were there, because I was at Lady Gaga and there was men there, but Madonna brings out a whole nother crowd.
Yeah,
Men
absolutely.
are they are obsessed with her and fans. So who knows? Could be something to consider. I think I probably know the answer to this. You probably already have said it, but we let everyone out of the Wolff Den with the same question.
All
You can
right.
spend 24 hours with anybody in the world. They have to be alive and you can't be related to them. Who would you choose and what are you guys going to do?
Nick Jonas.
Okay.
Um,
I assume you got to bring them to an event of yours. You got them for a day.
I would love that, but I also just because I love to just be like outside and like I'm like to do activities, and he loves this, so probably and just to get bonus points, go golfing with him.
Okay.
And it's a long day. That's a long
Okay.
time.
Yeah. Golfing and go to your event and hiking outdoors.
Yeah,
Um,
I would go golf and then yeah, go to a Fangirl Fantasy event and hopefully get him on
is he the
stage.
best looking Jonas brother?
It depends on who you ask.
Well, I'm asking you.
Depends.
You think he is?
Yeah, in my opinion, yeah.
Oh, they're all attractive. I mean, that's part of the appeal of them. But they're very talented too. And their father is, he's bigwig in the music industry.
Mhm.
And so it's like there's so much that has to happen for you to make it big. You have to have the talent. You have to have the personality. You got to have someone who's champion for you. There's got to be some money involved to get, but to put that all together and to be, and to be to be brother. Anyone in a band, you've seen bands break up, but to be brothers. I have a twin brother. I love dearly. He's my favorite person in the entire world. But I don't know that we could tour together like that. It'd
That's
be
why they
very
did that's why they did break up
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah, and also some solo stuff. I mean, that stuff when you can go and do solo, that's sort of a unique situation. But Nick Jonas, I think that I'm working on the list. I think that's probably the first time he's been mentioned. I thought maybe you would say Taylor Swift, but Nick is it. We're going to put him on the list. And if we have enough fame and fortune and power, we can make all of this happen for all of our guests. This is the 292nd episode, so we got a lot of people we're going to have to try and help, like make a wish for people who aren't in need of that kind of
Well
wish.
wish.
That's what we're going to do. But check it out on Instagram. You can find out all the information about where they're coming and the tours and the Barbie event, which is up in Boston.
Yes.
I think, right? It's at Fangirl_Fantasy, and looking forward to seeing what you come up with next, and definitely want to talk to you about some ideas I have down here in Florida. So I think it's a ripe market for it and some unique venues and ideas. But excited to see what you do. Thanks for joining us today, and we got another episode tomorrow. So tune in and have a great night. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much.